Hello fellow classmates and Professor Swanigan. Today I'm going to be giving you guys a speech on first aid classes and CPR and why you should take them. How many of you have known someone that has had a heart attack or maybe a stroke or any medical emergency that required immediate attention? Now we might not have all been at the scene of the situation, but what if you were? Would you have been panicked? Would you have called for help? Or would you have been able to step in and immediately help the individual? Valancourt, a writer for Journal of Emergency Medicine, states that cardiac arrests is the leading cause of mortality in North America. The overall survival rate for out-of-the-hospital cardiac arrests rarely exceed 5%. This just proves how lethal a cardiac arrest can be and how prevalent they can be in anyone's life. Valancourt goes on to say that a victim is almost 4 times more likely to survive a cardiac arrest when receiving CPR from a bystander. Though this improves the chances, the rates still remain low, barely exceeding 20%. And even though cardiac arrest is a leading cause of mortality, like we've already established, we still may come across general first aid emergencies. US Today magazine stated that when faced with a first aid emergency, no matter how minor or severe, our members say that the biggest mistake people often make is that they panic. So this only reinforces the need for people to be taking CPR and first aid courses. Being in the military, we are now all required to take a Combat Lifesaver course, or CLS for short. The obvious reason for this is to be able to provide immediate care to a nearby team member before a combat medic can arrive. These several minutes beforehand are crucial, and with the proper training that we have the possibility to save a casualty's life. The Army Correspondence Program estimates that a combat lifesaver skills can reduce battlefield deaths by 15%. So having gone through these types of courses multiple times, the positive effects of this knowledge has the capability of equipping anyone to save a life. So in the next 5 minutes or so, I'm going to explain to you why you should seriously consider taking first aid courses and a CPR. Even after all the statistics, all the stories, maybe even after an event of their own, people still choose not to participate in first aid and CPR courses. One reason that people may not choose to participate in these courses is that they feel that they might get in the way. Janine Davis, a writer for the popular medical website WebMD, states, people believe creating another accident or another victim complicates things much more, almost more than not getting involved. And although it is true that if you can't help safely, you shouldn't help, as Davis states, you should make sure that you're not putting yourself in danger or anyone else and then attempt to help. So we see it's not about getting in the way. It's about not putting yourself or anyone else in danger first and then proceeding to help. And even if there are procedures that you might not know how to do, you can be directed by a 911 dispatcher to do CPR and multiple other medical procedures. Another reason that you or other people may choose not to attend CPR first aid courses is time, and you might not be sure of how much they cost. I understand that we all get busy at times and we have important things to do, or life just plain out gets in the way. But when there is someone in need and an emergency situation is at hand, nothing will be more important than you and your first aid knowledge. Some certifications can take longer than others, some being 2 to 5 hours, and others taking multiple sessions and days in the week. And now I can tell you the pricing for CPR classes and certifications will vary depending on where you live, but I can tell you that the average cost of CPR trainings ranges from $45 to $60. This is well worth the investment, taking into consideration that knowing how to do CPR can save a person's life. Whether just a stranger passing by or a loved one, it can stir up the question of how much is someone's life worth to you. There are also many different sources on the web that offer free CPR and first aid training that I highly encourage you to take the time to look into. Another reason that people aren't taking the opportunity to do CPR and first aid courses is that they are afraid CPR will be difficult and of not doing it correctly. The rumor that CPR is difficult is a complete myth. Having done it multiple times, I can tell you firsthand that it is one of the easier courses to complete. The good news about these courses is that it's also super easy to enroll in a future course for a refresher as well. And you are always being taught by a trained professional, which is always reassuring. One saying that I have always stuck to in emergency situations is that you have to do something. It is always better to take some sort of action than nothing at all, even if it's done improperly. For this reason alone, it is important that we equip ourselves to be prepared for any medical situation that may happen. So if you have not considered taking a CPR course or a first aid class of some sort, I highly encourage you to do so, because you never know what could happen in your daily life. There may be some downfalls to taking these types of courses, but I hope you realize that in a medical emergency situation, the good will always outweigh the bad. So I hope that you take the time and take some of these courses so that before a medical emergency, life or death situation shows up on your front door and seriously affects your life, you will be prepared and you will have the chance to save someone's life. Thanks for listening.